So the first website I'm going to show you is rivergauges.com. It's operated by the Army Corps. It's a really, really useful website. And the PDF that I sent y'all for the agenda, it's clickable, so I've made the links everywhere. So, anyways, we're at the front page. I'm gonna click on Louisiana, and it's gonna ask me to choose a basin. I'm gonna pick the one off of Baton Rouge, so I'm gonna go Mississippi River and Passes, and it's gonna show me everything within the New Orleans District Basin for that. So, and what I want to look at is the Baton Rouge one, so it's 01160. 0160. But if you look at this, it tells you a lot of really good information. The record stage, flood stage, the latest level, the 24-hour change from previous, and the precipitation. But this one doesn't have a precipitation gauge, so it doesn't have anything here. And this is the home page. And on here, you can even go upstream or downstream of that site. That's why I kind of like it. So it tells you can click downstream to the next site, and it'll tell you which one's downstream, which is Dunsonville. So, and what's upstream of that? That's St. Francisville. So it's all along the same water body. It's really helpful, really helpful. And then it's got the Google Earth and Google Maps. If you click on those, they'll make a KML or KMZ for you, and that way you can just import it to your Google Earth and Google Map to know where it's at. So, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to show the upstream. I'm going to show the 30-day future projection. Right? They can do future projections for you. Right here, plot forecast. And it does like a 30 days approximation. So based upon what it knows in the past. And I'm going to compare it, because you can use this to compare the previous years. I like 2020. So. And look at that, the 2021 is this one up here, and this is us down here today. So
they're expecting some.
They're expecting some rain or something, or maybe snowfall. Something.
In 2020, the year we kind of had a double peak.
Yeah, but this is only 30 days. So if I do the full year, which I'm about to do next, it might show that. So.
If there's like some major rain events up north,
yeah,
they have to make
it takes time.
down.
Yeah, right. But you can also have these other options on the side. You got bank full stage and flood stage, and it tells you, what the flood stage and the bank stages are at. So now I'm gonna plot one for a whole year. So I'm gonna go back to it. And it's year to date plot. Takes a minute. And that's the full year. From until, January. So
where you see the beyond April at?
Let me see. That's approved data. That's why.
All right.
Some of the data is
preliminary.
It takes time. Yeah, it takes some time. So we can. I can.
So you're going to get the previous year then?
Yeah, I'll put in the previous year just to, which is 2020.
So it will not show provisional?
On the other charts, they'll show provisional. Sometimes it doesn't show it here. So. But let me try the 30 days and see if it plots the 30 days compared to last year's. Or 2020. And that's what I mostly use this for, and it's for most and all the gauges that Army Corps, and they collect some of this data from other places too. What's going on? Okay. Yeah, the news. I get that for free. I don't know why. Yeah, they collect some of this data from USGS sites too. So, any questions? I like this to be interactive, so if you got questions.
The precipitation data on that too? I mean, is that what you?
Some of them have precipitation data, and we can check the ones. I'll go back and check one that has a precipitation.
River stages and something like
Yeah, because I mean,
that.
I'm always looking for good stormwater data, like on general areas. If
So it looks like the Red River Landing one has precipitation data.
I see.
It's 0 because, we haven't had any.
Yeah.
Let's see what it says for year to view precipitation data.
It's 14 days.
Yeah, it's only 14 days of precipitation data. Let me see if there's a year-to-date plot for the precip. And if you really, really want precipitation data, there's another one, the NWS NOAA one that I'm gonna show you, and that really has better precipitation data with predictions. It's not showing. It only shows you 14 days on what I saw.
This is important.
7 days. So, but if you really want the precipitation data, I'm allowed to go over that one too. So, Latina's next.
Oh, I'm next. Dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun dun dun.
I have your website open too.
Okay, well, yes, thank you. But I want to show you guys, you don't have the, you don't have it, yeah, I don't like it. Why
Click
is it?
Ben. Click Ben.
Oh.
Yeah, click the middle one.
I don't do that. All right, so, and I'll send you, I do have the link, okay? But if you don't have the link and you're just like, how do I get to it? Okay? It's USGS. I'm going to talk about the USGS stations. Water data. And you get to this website right away. Okay. Now, this gives you ways to access different types of information. However, using the map is like one of your easiest tools.
So when you went back screen, they had USGS data for Louisiana.
Yes.
Clicking it there, it's easier to come
Let me
here
see.
and go.
I don't know, that was
See
been.
where Louisiana?
Because the thing's already saved, it doesn't know it's
Yeah, see, it's
me.
saved, but
That's
you may
fine.
not have it.
You may not have it if you're a first-time user.
Let me see if it gets you, okay, so that goes you to a different map. That's a different map. I prefer the one that I'm going to show you. USGS has many different ways to get the same information. So, oh wait, maybe it's, oh, that's the same thing.
And there will be a quiz at
Yes.
the end, and we're going to start using quizzes, and we're going to end up with a certification process at the end.
Oh my goodness gracious, forgive me for not being able to type.
So USGS has been kind of in the process of updating their whole webpage.
All right.
So some of them, they have the old legacy pages, and some of them, they have the new version of the page.
Yeah, and the new one, I want to say, is very, very
Yeah.
interactive, very user-friendly.
This is
Very intuitive.
interactive.
Yeah.
This is, I'm gonna try to use bins. So you'll notice if you scroll out, you'll see, I should have brought my own. Anyway, you'll see that it's all the stations for the United States. Okay. Now, there's a couple ways of finding your station. Okay, you can scroll it in and just, know that sometimes there's a weird spot where, let me see if I can get it to do. There's a weird spot where it doesn't look like there's anything, and all you have to do is scroll it in. So if you get like a map of the United States, a map of Louisiana, and it's not showing you the stations, just scroll it in closer and they'll pop up. So I have It works easier when you have a big screen. So you can scroll here and start looking at them. When you highlight the triangle, and you click on it, it gives you the name, it gives you the site number, and it also tells you what type, what is it? Is it a stream? We have crims, they have atmospheric, they have all kinds. But see, in this over here, this is your menu. Right now, we're only looking at surface water. And all the surface waters are gray. I can find it this way, right? Or say you've been working with a site and you know your site number and you don't want to scroll through the map. Okay? You have it, you've been fooling with this site, you know your site number, then you can just search by site number. And it'll bring it right there. Now, most stations have an 8-digit code or site number. For some reason, this one has 9.
Yeah, that's just a sequential number.
It's the name, it's its name. And so this number is unique to the station. So there's no other station that has this number nationwide. It's unique to this station. Okay. Now, if you go here and you look at this, you have active sites, and what you right. Let me do active and inactive, and then I'll show you something else. And then you have inactive, and you can highlight it, and then all the light gray are inactive sites. So it's historical data that they have. Some of it's good, some of it's not. You know, most of the Lake Maupassant stuff is like one event that they did for water quality. So let's look at.
That's why it's white.
Yeah, see, because it's inactive. If you look over here on this menu, see how it has inactive is the light or white or light gray, and then that's the dark grays are active sites. And then you can access data. Now, this is the data that's available for this site, okay? It's your peak stream flow, your field measurements, and then revisions. There's 2 ways to get your information. This is the current historical observation.
That drainage area, that 90-something miles, is this the length of the stream?
Hold on, let's go back.
Where you see that?
I want to see what you're talking about.
Drainage area, 93.86.
Oh, yeah, that's the drainage area, and I'm going to show you, it shows it on the map. There's a map that shows the drainage area from that station upstream. So, yeah, that is it. That's the drainage area. So you're asking about that. This is, I'll tell you just real quick. See this map? This is the site, and this is what the Corps says is the
Drainage area.
the
So that
drainage
goes
area.
for it, right.
It's the gray area. And these are different gauges these are all the different gauges, but you can see that these are different gauges within it. All right. This is the clunky part. You can't access the data from this map. You have to go back out to the other map. So that's kind of clunky as far as I'm concerned.
And they're just looking at the drainage area connected to the Mississippi River, right? That's what they consider? It's
Yeah,
the
well,
drainage of the
they're
Mississippi.
stopping. They stopped the drainage area
Yeah,
out
they
of
stopped right there
Mississippi
on the
because
border, on
there's
the
a
levee.
levee. And so so there is no drainage past that levee. They don't consider, they consider the levee.
And your
up
drainage
here.
is not really that direction, my point.
Yeah.
And your highest point's the Mississippi
Right.
River.
Yeah,
So
but
that's what I
here,
was
like
wondering,
this
is
water-
that, how they come up with that
It has
area
to-
from that point
right.
where you start to that point where you
It
end?
has to do with your topography. See, the Mississippi River has a levee, so the water from the Mississippi is not getting into the
No,
river.
but he said like the drainage path should be more, toward the east.
Yeah.
But the
Well,
water.
that's
the
what I'm saying,
water
it's going,
travels this way. This is east. This is east.
Oh.
Because the map is oriented north. So
wait,
this is east.
No,
That's west.
I mean, oh, thank you. This is west, but the water travels this direction. It travels.
So my point is, they're showing Bayou Manichac all the way up to Bayou Manichac, how's that drainage? They're showing the drainage is,
They're showing it like this, and you're saying, but this, is this, I don't know this area of the.
Well, the project right there, he
this-
said everything's going that way, and stuff, so. It's kind of weird.
well,
the
we don't
drainage
know exactly what criteria they use to draw the drainage area.
Yeah.
Normally, we're gonna look at elevation data, LiDAR, where roads are, levees are, stuff like that when we're
That's
doing
what
it,
we
but
do.
we don't know the specifics of how the USGS did it. I know that in a lot of cases, when they were doing the drainage areas in South Louisiana, they just listed as indeterminate,
I can-
because they can't, you have so many crisscrossing canals and stuff. And, I don't really know what level of confidence they have in this drainage area here.
Yeah, I'm not sure. In certain areas, I can match what they do with.
I'm just curious, are they saying that the overbanks of the New River will affect that whole, or is it drainage from that area all going to affect the New River?
I think that they're calculating that this, a drop of water that hits here eventually ends up here.
Yeah, like all that drains into that to get to that point.
That's what,
Saying.
Which would make sense, because that's normally how the original drainage was.
right.
Yeah.
So that's, in other words, that's the way I look at it in kind of a simplistic way. It's like if there's a drop of water here, it travels to here and then eventually travels this way. That's what it's saying.
Because you got other bodies, you got Conway and Panama, that-
Yeah.
The last time they did this, it probably didn't account for the growth and all that. This might be 10 years old, what they're using.
Yeah.
It does say.
I wonder if it was done before they even done Conway or
In the
Panama.
legend, it says that the purple is the upstream flow line, and then the blue is the downstream flow line.
Yeah, it stops right there.
So, yeah, so it goes, if this is upstream, traveling downstream. this is-
Yeah, I can understand the flow of New River, I just was
No, I
trying
mean,
to figure
that's
out
what
the
they're
actual.
saying. Yeah,
And sometimes they can match these to their hubs, right? They got the hub 8, hub 6, so maybe when they do come back and update, it just might change.
right. So, this is the data. This is your gauge data, and you can see, especially right now, because there's no rain, you're not getting,
All right, that gauge data is on New River.
that, yeah, on New River.
All right,
This
all
is the gauge data on New River.
Yeah, because New River
And
is
it's
low.
showing you a real good tidal, curve, cosine, sine, or whatever you want to call it. Now, now, just realize, look at the, scale. This is 0.6, and watch the numbers as I go along the line. It tells you the exact reading, and that's kind of sweet. But the difference is 0.55 to 0.95. So it's like 4/10 of a foot. So it looks like, oh, it's big, but it's really like this much. But that can move a lot of water, depending on how far it goes. It can move a lot of water. So then, if you go down here, if you notice your time span is from August 4th to today. And also look at this, you see this orange, how it's orange? Orange is provisional, meaning they have not gone through and approved it. Okay, so let's just choose a year. You see how you have the blue? The blue is approved, and the orange is provisional. So when we choose data, we try to use approved data. There are some situations where we have new gauges, you know, if that's the only thing we've got, we use it. But we try to use approved data as much as possible.
So that one's actually feet, this one.
This is, yeah, I mean, you have some high spikes in here, and it's probably from rain, our rain event. You know, oh, and now, it depends on scale. Like, I'm doing a full year, so it's not gonna, all right, so you can stretch it.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, it's going from one, that's 30 days in that little
Right.
span. I
And
see
so
that.
it'll only let me stretch it so much.
All right.
Because I have a year's worth of data. If I put the data into a shorter time span, it'll let me get even like more precise on it. But it doesn't matter how precise it is because you still get the
And you can
time.
tell it has a rain, January 29th
Yeah,
or the 30th.
yeah. You know, and for this gauge here, it hits it pretty fast, I would think. You could look at maybe some precipitation data, but I would have a feeling that the way this thing works, the rain hits it pretty fast.
So what's the amplitude? Is that like a foot on that spike?
This here, let me, all right. So let me do it this way and then I can do it another way. So this, let me see. All right, so that is 0.78, and that's like 2, right. See how it's giving me trouble because the scale was so big. So this is January 23rd, right? I can change that date down here. Change time span. All right, and notice it does month, day, year. In another part of this web, it goes year, month, date. So you need to check and make sure which way they want it. All right, so this was in January, right? And you can also do it this way. And it was like January 23rd, so let's give it a 2-week window. I like to do that because it kind of, see how it has a beginning date, end date, and then change time span. Okay. Now, this is what it presents it as. You can stretch it so it's like you see the 22nd every moment of the 22nd up to the 23rd. Okay, so if you're, depending on your scale, I chose a 2-week scale. It lets you get deeper into the data. Okay, and so we were trying to find out right here, this spot here. It should let me see it now. Right there. So that's 2.82. And it goes, the bottom of this is 1.34.
What's
So,
the date difference?
the January 24th.
At
At,
3:45, and then go back to the peak.
It should be like 12 hours. Yeah. Now, right. There's a way to get the actual numbers too, and I'm going to show you that. This is a good way to go. At 1:45, so a little bit less than 12 hours. Your cycle is about a 12-hour cycle for a time. So
So it was about a foot or close to it?
About a foot and a half, I think.
So I'm wondering if that was some sort of title search too, located, knowing where that's located at.
Well, this is right outside that, you know what? It's right outside the, that pump station. It could be, the pumps could have been releasing that.
Depends on the rainfall, the pumps, you know, they don't, the pumps won't run unless it's a certain gauge.
Okay.
You know, once you get to a certain water level, and there was a time, I could tell you, when
And it would be the
they
upstairs.
had a problem with the pump. Actually, a guy lost a job over that. And I don't know what date that was, but, you know,
Yeah, I can go to the station right above it too. So this is like January 24th, right?
So the nice thing about
the
this
pump,
webpage,
well, the motors, like 3 of the motors went out.
Oh dear.
It takes 3 motors, there's 5 motors, if I remember correctly. It takes 3 to maintain the, and 3 of the motors, I'm not 100% certain what happened with them. But something to do with, I guess rubber belts or something, heated, burned them up. So the pump wasn't pumping, and boy, that water backed up, and that's probably, I don't know, the date.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, because this is down, this gauge is downstate.
Yeah, we say right now, you know, Gonzales, Ascension Parish is very dependent on them pump operations.
That's,
Because most of these channels are man-made.
yeah.
New River, I think Manchac, the only two that's not.
one of the nice things about the way the USGS has this website set up now is you can look at that gauge right there and keep that tab up and then go back to the other page and select another gauge and look at them side by side.
Yeah. My screen's a little small, but I can't do that. So, I'm looking at the one downstream, right? But they have that one. They have this one right here. And that's right upstream. That's the one above the pump station. We'll talk about this little guy here, but a lot of it is all the same things, it's just different ways of looking at it. All right, so this is upstream. And something happened here. And it loses data, and this is provisional. So we'll go down and change the time span. And also you can just subscribe to alerts. So if it's, you know, if there's something, you know, like a event or something that you want to, I haven't really fooled with it, but
I've used that quite a bit. Like when we had a big rain event or something, I subscribed to be notified whenever the flow on the Comey River at Olive Branch would go be over a certain level. So it would send me notices.
okay, so, yeah, see, this is the 20, well, look at your time. So this is the 24th, and see how it's low here, and it's high on the other side? So I'm thinking the pumps kicked on, and dumped the water on the other side, and that's why you're seeing that spike. You see the spike here, and it's down on the other side. So the pumps kick on, the water level goes down, the water level goes up on the other side. I was kind of suspicious that that's what happened. And sometimes there's no rhyme or reason. You know, there could be a boat that goes by it and puts a big wake, and it'll show on the gauge. Then they have, now here, you'll see, this is how long they have data. Some of these stations have been operating since 1900. Some of them haven't been continuous, but you'll see some really old data. I'm not quite sure how they did it, but they got it. So this is since 2017 to current. discharge, so it'll show you, this is the downstage one. And the discharge follows the tide, as you can tell. That makes sense, because this doesn't have, especially right now, there's no rain, so the only water that's involved is tide. After, see how this says negative? When the water goes the other way, it's just negative. In other words, if the tide's going in, it's still flow.
Southeast wind.
It's still flow. It's still, it doesn't matter, flow is flow. The negative or positive just shows which direction it's going.
And like you were saying, if there's a big wind coming out of the south or something, it'll push it up in there.
Yeah,
You'll see that.
and you'll see it. You'll see it. Now, we have some gauges that, even at the Mississippi River, it shows some tidal action, but it has a positive flow the whole time because it has so much volume. Even if it's showing some tidal, the water still.
Yeah, I'd be interested in what it does when you got a heavy rain that's pushing the water into, say, New River before the pumping station. And then you get a serious tidal influence with southeast wind, because they'll close. Remember when you ask people before, they leave it open, and all times they'll shut it down when they get like that.
Right.
And I guarantee that'll mess up your numbers big time.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
and you'll be able to see it. You can just, if you note the date and around the time, you'll be able to see it. So, okay. And then, as with this data, with the other data, you can always change the time, as long as you're within the time frame that it's given. If you try to like, you know, you can enter in 2016, but you're only going to get data for 2017. You know, it's not going to say, oh, you're outside the range. That doesn't care. You can just enter it, you know, because I've had data that ended in like 2019, and instead of having to deal with entering in the date, I'll just do the current date, and it just ends when it ends. And this has mean water velocity. Maybe. What does this mean? I don't know. Just select add data to graph on the second y-axis.
You'll show
We
them.
know the parameter.
Yeah, but you don't have any.
There's no data.
You don't have anything.
I don't know why it's saying it is, but no, there's none. So, okay, so that is, I've told you about the let's go back to the map. So, there's other, you know, the graph is cool. All right, it's cool. But sometimes you just want the numbers and you want to install them into something like an Excel file, you know, so you can manipulate them. If you go here, now it says that it does sometimes take precipitation, but right now it's not working. This is another way of getting the exact same data, okay? But you can download it. It also has a graph. You can have tabs separated. All right, so let's do, I'm gonna just do the gauge height. And see here, this is an older, this is what it used to be. And they're trying to update everything to the other one. I'm hoping they don't get rid of this page because it's really easy to get information from it. Now this one's showing that there is actual data from 1997 from this station. But what's probably happened is there's going to be a big break. And we'll see, let's do the graph. And so they're just giving you they're more confident with the newer information, so they're not on the up. Now see, this one is year, month, day, this version, this page. Am I taking up too much time?
Most of it, that's all. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you have all the way to 1997. Actually, it looks pretty decent. There's just this break here. It's hard to get the close-up like the other data.
Got too much data.
But you can, this is the gauge height, this is upstream. Oh, so it's giving you the upstream. Notice your number? This is the one upstream of this one. So it should, because they're so close
I got a
together.
question, Tina. What's that red right there on the top one?
The red is an estimated daily mean. See, here's your legend, which means there was a break or something, and they used their statistical magic to get you those numbers so you can have some consistent data. And I really don't know if they base it on precipitation, historical, you know. So, and then if you get, the table is nice, but it's nice because you can see it pretty readily, but, here, hold on. I'm going so fast. You can see it readily. And you see this A, the A means approved. And then it shows you your breaks. But what you can use to get data to put into an Excel file so you can manipulate the data.
What does P mean?
P means provisional. Meaning it's there, they have the data, but they have
Validated it.
They have it validated.
QAQC.
The QAQC, that's right. And then, now see here how this graph is the scale. The graph is easier to read because it's a less scale. And then the pink here is provisional. If you do tab separated, and let's just do one. I recommend you do one parameter at a time because it tries to put it all in together and it gets kind of confusing. But it gives you, review it, it tells you what you got here. A is approved, P is provisional, your site, your date, the height. I think this is what, the height above and below probably, huh?
Yeah, that's how we took it.
They did that, yeah, that's a little unusual, but I guess because the two gauges are so together, you can see that. Okay, enough of that, and we'll move to, so your provisional, this is if it has, I'm taking a risk here. They also have the CREM sites on here. All right, so I'll go quicker. I use this site a lot. I wanted to get the stuff from. All right, so see, these are all inactive sites in the Lake Pontchartrain. And what you'll see when you get here, we'll do this one, access data. And it'll tell you where it is, All right, see, there's something there, but they just don't have the data. So they're saying it's 0. See how it says here, unavailable? A lot of times it'll say 1. And it'll be like an individual. I'll do one more. If it doesn't do it, I'm done. Yeah, never mind. If you play with that though, you'll see that it's like one data set, and it's not flow or anything. It's water quality.
The report might have something, you know. If you click on the access data and go under the report column,
Let me see.
you see summary of available data. Try to click on that,
Okay.
and then click on report. But they don't have it. Never
You
mind.
then-
Sometimes they have a report. And
Yeah.
they'll have it inside of the report.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. But you know it's there. You can look and see, just see. You know, what the heck's going on. Now, see how this is what I'm talking about, how it's weird. There's no sites. No, it's whatever. Thank you. You turn this off. And turn this on. I'm going to move on. I was going to show you some cool stuff. Mississippi, but
Basically, this going to get on there.
yeah, you have to get on it. But they do have groundwater sites. There's not much in your area. But you'll notice that they're different colors. So the groundwater is, let's see what it shows. So this is,
All right, when you talk groundwater, they got depths and
yeah,
With
I look
sand
at
on
this,
the end.
I am not.
well depth 430, so that's a 400-foot sand, but where's that one located?
This one is, yeah, Gonzales, New Orleans.
That's what they call it, the 400-foot sand, they call that the Gonzales Aquifer.
And
I'm just
then,
curious how you know where's that actually located at?
well, I'll show you.
Coordinates.
You got a
I
line?
got coordinates.
What's the NAD 27 number?
This is the, we just talked about this in class, the data. It is the,
National something?
it has to do with the projection of the map, which one they're using. But you do location map and it'll show you. Boom, right there. And you can even go, you can pull it in. I'm having issues.
And
I'm having issues.
the NAD is a horizontal data. The other one, GDP 29.
settlement or 20?
Yeah, it's right there.
So they won't.
Trying to figure out, all right, so that's gotta be
Highway 22.
seven with the intersection.
Yeah, Highway 22, near Walpole.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out, go back out a little bit where I can see where 22 and Front Settlement come in, because that's the diversion canal, and that's the ground, so that's gonna be, I'm just trying to get an idea where that's
Yeah,
actually
here's the
at.
diversion canal right here.
Yeah.
And then,
You can also switch the base map if you want to see it, like NAIP.
I just know
Yeah,
how
right here,
22
just
runs,
switch-
so I'm just
switch
trying to get
base
an
map.
idea
So
where
you can
it's
see real world stuff.
you can see it
Just to assist.
however you want to look at it. I don't like this topo though, I actually don't look at this one. Yeah, I like that topo better. But, yeah. And then the data, I'm really having trouble with this. Access data. So you can, again, here's your groundwater level measurements. And I looked at this, I really did have trouble understanding. Is it-
15 feet above.
So it's just measuring the depth of it?
Yeah, I'm thinking it's the opposite of what I think, because
It's
depth to
yeah.
water level, feet below land surface, but it's like 11, but they're saying it's a 400-foot hole.
So that one up there looks like it would be, the groundwater was rising?
Possible. I don't know. See, I don't know.
I can't see the 400-foot sand
It
penetrate
doesn't say it. It
and
doesn't
screen,
say it.
because you don't, they're not telling you what the screen intervals
But let
are.
me tell you,
That's
if you're,
2020, the water was not
if you're curious, if you don't understand something, questions and comments, you can just email them, and I get a response back within a day.
And download a presentation quality graph.
It's down the
It's
presentation.
just that graph in a better quality.
But they do have this for groundwater, just let me know. Let's see. They also have the inactive sites. Springs, I don't know what the hell they're talking about here. There are none. There are no gauges on any springs in Louisiana. They have some in Florida. You know, I'm guessing it's like artesian wells. I don't know what they consider a spring. But here's some other, here's something
Then
interesting.
Francisville, maybe Kentwood.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have anything in Kentwood, but maybe they don't.
There is one in Kentwood, I know.
I know.
Yeah, you're right.
So, but it's springs that they have a gauge on.
Yeah, and then,
So here is your atmospheric sites.
which we don't have, but we rely on other ones, like those.
Yeah, they have a couple. It's, they're new, actually, like, just this year, it started sampling. So here's one right here. Now, here's the weirdness with the way they present this data.
Just maybe River Diversion at Whitehall.
Here, you wanna see it? Location. There. So, and there's your longitude, latitude. So, here's how they present their data. Oh, here, I'll do the historical.
So that must be the Blind River right to the right that's blowing.
Yeah,
And that's the diversion channel all the way to Lake Warren.
yeah, so what they do is you have a time frame, and it starts at 0, and it goes from this time frame to this time frame, how much rain has happened. It's not like oh, there was 4 inches, and then, you know, it's like, all right, it starts at 0, and then during the 8th, you had some rain. You had 0.66 inches of rain. And so if you do over, say, and the reason I say this is a new site is here, 2021 is when it started, getting rain. Let me change the time span.
So this is this an LWI gauge?
No, this is well, I don't know, it's a USGS gauge, but it might be LWI. So
Looks like it probably is.
let me just do it here. You'll see what I'm talking about. And again, blue is approved, orange is provisional, but it starts at 0. And so for this entire year, from last year this time to this year this time, you have a total, at this point here, it'll say you have a total of 28 inches. At this point here, you had a total of 39 inches. So, and then from August to August, you had 45 inches total. And then you can also try to get the information. Oh, it's done. Okay. All right. And you can also look at getting the data differently. But I think I even looked at it different ways, and it's just total from that time. You know, so if you wanted to do like a 3-day period before sample event, you could do that. That would probably work. So, all right. Any questions?
Just gotta get on it, bro.
Yeah, you just have to click. There's a lot. Thank you. There's a lot of information you can get.
We're gonna cheat a little bit for the last two. I got the syllabus so you can follow along. If you'll get lost, there's graphs on the back, right? So I wasn't gonna give it to y'all until the very end. But, you gotta get Tina's copy. Tina, can you have it? Can you have the copy? So I'm gonna show you the tidal gauges for NOAA tidal gauges. That's what we use for within the tidal regions to get elevations and heights of the water level. And NWS. NOAA also handles NWS, which predicts your precipitation for future rainfall events. The first one is
I got a copy.
NWS. So this is the main page of the NOAA's Advanced Hydrologic Prediction Service. It predicts future precipitation, and then it tells you the elevation of the streams. This is what you see on TV when they do their predictions with the meteorologists. So it's similar to what we use. So I'm going to go and select Lake Charles, which kind of handles all the data here. I'm going to zoom into Baton Rouge. BTR1. It's on the west side of Baton Rouge, near the port of Baton Rouge Deep Water. And that's what a lot of people recognize, right? Y'all seen this before. It's something that they show when it's raining and to the community, and it can predict about 10 days out. So, yeah, it seems to be about 10 days out.
Now, this is the same kind of prediction that the Corps does too, right?
Yeah, most of them are using the same background data. So, a lot of them are using the same background data. Corps might use some of USGS data, USGS might use some of NOAA's data, so they can. And if y'all ever have any questions with them, they are really quick to respond. So
Yeah.
I would just contact them on any questions you have, and they're pretty quick. But what I like about this website is that it shows you, for what I do, it shows you historical crest, recent crest, and low water levels. And I think it shows you like the last 40 events. So as you can see, the highest it's ever been was 1927. 47.28 feet. Yeah, it shows about the last, more than 40, about 85. Okay. It's a really helpful tool for, me writing a report or for me looking what happened previously in the past. So these gauges are everywhere. So, and then this is almost like the other one, rivergauges.com. You can go upstream and downstream. So I want to go downstream just to see which one's the next one. And that's the Dotson group. So it seems like it's almost the same background data that rivergauges.com are using. But this one gives you the projected elevation of what's going to happen because of precipitation or so. Or any other events or... I'm going to go back to it. I'm going to show you how to do... It's called Show River at a Glance option. Wait a minute. So. And from here, I can see a lot of things. I can predict a bunch. It's on the last page of the NOAA syllabus, NOAA NWS. I can predict 3 spots along the Mississippi River and see what their heights are going to be in the next 10 days for all 3 spots. It's a very powerful tool.
When they're trying to do something like that with the parish,
Mm-hmm.
with almost waterline SCADA,
Really?
you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the software program for multiple areas where they measure, and they're connected to each other.
And their goal is to have a control room.
Yeah, the military uses that. They use the SCADA program for a lot of their software. So, but I'll select 3 sites: Baton Rouge and BTR1. I'm selecting St. Francisville and Donaldsonville. And there's a lot of parameters that you can select from this right side, but I'm going to select stage or forecast. And at the very bottom, I'm going to make my river page. And here, it's going to show me the projection of those 3 sites for the next 10 days.
Separate, yeah.
Yeah, they're separate. I can't stack them, so, but they're separate. But once you print them out, you can draw a straight line down. They actually send in a graph for you, so you can actually take a ruler, draw a straight line, and get through all the same days. So it's really convenient, Not only does it do that, but for every single one of them, it still shows you if you want to see the historical crest, recent crest, or even the low water crest. So the low water records. But these are like the other ones. They're everywhere in the state. You just gotta, look around. So that is for you all to keep. Do you have questions? Or you want to see something else? Oh yeah, that's it. Because they know with the weather service, they're gonna put warnings and stuff on there. Because it does other things too, but this is the main tool I use here. So the last one we're going to go through, and we got about 17 minutes. It's the NOAA sites. I love these sites. They're actually pretty.
So you rather know it than the USGS?
Well, the NOAA is the tidal reaches, right? I have to use both. It's sort of a complement to each other. Because USGS, they do have some.
But they're both federally funded.
Yeah, they're both federally funded, because the NOAA sites, a lot of them are in tidal reaches.
Yeah, they don't go inland.
Yeah, they don't go too far inland, maybe.
Well, USGS goes lower.
Yeah, USGS goes over, and then sometimes they border each other, like in Calcasieu. There are some USGS sites that border the NOAA sites.
Yeah.
So, but they know that they're working together. The USGS site is not going to give you flow. NOAA is just going to give you elevation, and the USGS site is also just going to give you elevation because they realize what's happening there in Parish. So, this is the main page. I'll just go to Louisiana. And I'm going to look at the one on New Canal Station near New Orleans, right? So, just zooming in, I know where I want to go. Now, these are all the NOAA sites, as you can see. You don't see anything much beyond, just. I mean, you got Lake Charles because of the Calcasieu, but anything beyond here, you don't really see. So, all tidal. And this is where I'm going, the New Canal Station. Once you click on there, it gives you a bunch of today's low, today's high. But what I want to do is I want to go to the main page to get more data. So. It gives you a little picture of what it looks like. So if you really want to do a site visit, you can actually see what it looks like.
You can also, if you could look down on, satellite, you can see it and you know what you're looking
It's
for.
even showing me its secrets, huh? Oh yeah. But yeah, this is pretty interesting when I was looking at it. But what I want to really show is, I mentioned low and high tide. But I want to show the trends, right? I want to see sea level trends. This does that for you. They have that. So I'm going to go to sea level trends. This will tell you, some of them are about, they have about 20 years of data, so. And there's a lot of information beyond what I really need, but it'll show you confidence level, it'll show you relative sea level rise over the next, well, this one doesn't, but some of them will project it. Yeah, but you can see an upward projection, and it tells you right up here, right? Like every year, what it's assuming is going to climb up, 1 millimeter per year. So. But the Gulf of Mexico is a weird anomaly, right? Within the Gulf, they actually analyze this data much more frequently. When they analyze the data, they put them on these datums, which is more of a report, right? But when they analyze the data, you see how they got this short amount of data between the years. It's supposed to be 19 years for a full tidal trend, right? But in the Gulf of Mexico, Louisiana has all these weird anomalies. So sometimes they'll analyze it on a modified epic schedule, right? So it's usually about 5 years they'll try to analyze it. Sometimes they have gaps. Right here's only 2 years, right here's about 6. So, but if you see something else and you click on something like Florida, they do act like a full 19-year trend actually. But this is the meat of what I really use, right? This gives me everything that they use and they take and they calculate and give me all the mean values. And all these little acronyms, on the last page, I print out the reference sheets. It tells you what it explains what it is. They want you to know what type of gauge. But they have the reference sheets online too, but this is for you to take home. But some of the main data I use is either mean range of tide, which is MN, 0.55 feet. And everything here is in feet. Feet. So I usually use the mean range of tide. It tells me, what happens and what's the average between the high, and low. But sometimes you don't really want to take those extreme variances. So right here they're saying near New Orleans, the mean range of tide from their calculation of these years, it's about 0.55 throughout, 7, 6, about 8 years of data. So.
And that's about what New River was, about half a foot.
Yeah. But yeah, these are, like I said, these are all over the southern sort of in the tidal area, right?
Coastal titles.
Coastal tidal. So if you have a USGS site and you realize you're in the tidal, check out the NOAA sites. Anybody got any questions? And if you got, you can always send it to us. Oh yeah, it's. I mean, you can be here all day learning about this stuff, clicking on them.
And then you learn more, like, oh.
Yeah, the ones in Calcasieu are amazing. They have 3 within this one short stretch because Calcasieu has a lot of unique characteristics.
And I see I don't see but the one that's yellow and red,
Yeah.
that text says one thing and then one.
That's the water level in meteorology. Like
Yeah.
red is water level, yellow is the meteorological data. So,
Yeah.
but right here, there's several because what happens up here in Upper Lake Charles sometimes is a little bit off from down here near Baltimore. But from what I've seen, it's only 5%. So, but
Yeah,
sometimes
we get some places that are on like a 12.5 hour period of tidal rise, but some places are on like a 6.5 hour.
yeah, the anomalies here it's just it creates a weird the tides here create this weird. It takes so long for the tides to come out. It does that effect. So there's still going to be tides. But it's just,
Most of the ones in Ascension Parish are on the 12-hour though.
yeah, the one in Ascension Parish are 12 hours. So, any questions? Then I'll go over to wrapping up with the